Sonichu, number 10, September 15th, 2008. On the cover, we see Chris-chan Sonichu racing across a grassy knoll. Cover art contributed by Sonichu Rosachu fan Panda Halo. Previously on Sonichu, August 9th, 2008, Quickville Forest. The moment has finally arrived. It is time to rescue our master and creator from the void of time. Okay, says Wild. But how? Your vine whips are required as a form of rope, explains Magichan. Soon Wild has made the preparations for their mission. He stands on a thick tree branch with a vine line from his right arm tied securely around the tree. The vine from his left arm is tied around the waist of Magichan. Using his telekinetic powers, Magichan flies into the temporal rift and enters the time void. Once inside, he immediately locates Christian Weston Chandler. Thank God! Magichan, how long has it been? Chris asks. Curiously, he is wearing a different shirt than the one he wore when he was first lost in the time void. It's been about over 9 months, Magichan answers. Miss Amber was able to maintain the city duties well, but she grows tired and stressed from having to cope with it. She put up some billboards and flyers wishing you'd come back. We all missed you as well. Here, tie this vine around you, Chris. Thanks, says Chris. I see. Well, at least I am appreciated, and that y'all truly do care about me. After I get out of here, I'm going to take out the villainous trash of my adversaries for my sweetheart search. Y'all would not believe what has happened to me in what was about 1 month for me, among which I had relations with my future wife. Her name is Lovely Weather. Cool, let's get out of here, says Chris as he ties his vine whip around his waist. Magichan tugs on the vine 3 times, and Wild reels them back into their native reality. Once clear of the vortex, Magichan levitates himself and Chris back to Wild's position. Wild severs the vines with Cuts Vines, and Magichan teleports himself and Chris to the forest floor. As Wild leaps to the ground to join them, Chris continues his tale. So anyway, I traveled to the year 2015. It looks about the same state as now. I took part in a medical study. While I was there, I met Lovely Weather, or rather, she found me. She was married to my future self, and little Crystal was with her. She turned out healthy, strong, and cute. Lovely was hot. She mistook me for myself, and we went home. I was late getting home from work that night, so Lovely and I did the do, and it was awesome. Listening intently, Wild and Magichan struggled to conceal their disgust. Anyway, as for the medical study, and this will require your aid, Magichan, in June of 2015, the scientists have found the gene-like molecule, which makes a person turn homosexual. They needed a volunteer's untainted straight blood to get a pure version of the molecule to generate a vaccine. Then I entered, and I gave them a bit of my blood. 1 week later, the first batch of 10 syringes were created. I was the first one, after they did their successful tests of the vaccine, to receive the vaccine, so I would never have to worry about ever becoming one of them. I had 2 of the syringes with me before I left, so I can turn Reldnock back into Natesirk. I have the understanding of Kel worrying and missing Natesirk. She does love and care about him so. Anyway, I was informed that the sufficient amount of the vaccine to put into the water supply around the world would take another month to make. Magichan, I want you to travel forward to July 31st, 2015, and transfer the crates of vaccine back to our local medical facilities of today. I am entrusting this chaotic crystal to you for boosting your ability to time travel. I wish the crystal returned to me at about 3 p.m. today, at the 4-cent garbage building. I will be ready for its use in my plans then. Chris wills the yellow Sonichu ball to emerge from his left hand, and he hands it off to Magichan. Yes, sir, says Magichan. But before you go, I need your telekinesis to rally our allies for this mission towards correcting my comic mistakes of my real-life-based villains. Chris places his hand on Magichan's head and broadcasts his thoughts through his telepathy. Attention! Attention! I have returned, and I need your help, friends! In the Quickville shopping center, Allison Amber and Billy Mays pick up on Chris's message and smile with relief. Allison and Bill, I need you two to equip Sonichu with a PlayStation 3 in the office, with the Guitar Hero software in it and my band instruments, and have him meet me and my crew at the 4-cent garbage building. Also in the mayor's office is Patty-chan, standing guard over the other 5 Sonichu balls, as well as the dark mirror in which Chris's sister Crystal is imprisoned. Patty, I will be sending Sonichu your way to pick up the 5 chaotic crystals. and please move Crystal into the office by my desk. At 14 Brunchville Lane, Sonichu and Rosachu also hear Chris's message with elation. Sonichu, stop by the mall and pick up the chaotic crystals, and meet me at the 4-cent garbage building with them at 2:30 p.m. Elsewhere, Black Sonichu and Punchy Sonichu are also contacted. Blake and Punchy, please meet me and Sonichu at the 4-cent garbage building. Our band would not be complete without you two. Chris then turns to Wild. And of course we'll need you there too, Wild, our bassist, he says. Oh yeah, says Wild. Dejected, Magichan absorbs the Sonichu ball into his arm and sets off on his mission to 2015. Electric Hedgehog Power, says Chris as he places his hands over his Sonichu medallion. Transformed into Chris Chan Sonichu, he says, we are going to rock that house down. With a salute to Wild, he adds, and that's the plan. Y'all will meet up with me in Tennessee at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. I have my to-do list to check off. Hasta luego. Good luck, Christian, says Wild, returning his salute. Immediately, the heroes go to work following Chris's orders. In the mall parking lot, Billy Mays installs the PlayStation 3 into Sonichu's body, while Allison Amber gathers the instruments. In the mayor's office, Sonichu takes his balls from Patty, who has placed the dark mirror in front of Chris's desk. Elsewhere in the city, the other Sonichus make their journey to Clarksville, Tennessee. Black Sonichu runs, Wild Sonichu swings on his vines, and Punchy flies. Nearly 7 years into the future, Magichan Sonichu arrives at the laboratory manufacturing the vaccine. A pair of scientists are there to greet him, and they show him the crates of vaccine already prepared. Meanwhile, Chris races into Quickville to complete the next phase of his plan. Episode 21. Christian Chandler in Director Amenities. Currently in Quickville, Chris arrives at the CWC Sonichu site filing facility, hosted by Tripod. At the door, he enters a combination into the security lock and is granted access. Inside the room are rows of filing cabinets, and scattered on the floor and walls are a variety of images and cards depicting Sonic the Hedgehog, Pokemon, and Sonichu and Rosachu. Good, as I last left it, says Chris as he inspects the clutter. Now to gather all this and teleport it all for backup before the Devil Trolls can degrade any of all this. But even as he speaks, a flesh-colored creature with a shock of green hair emerges from behind a folder labeled CWC's Pokesite 2. A similar brown-skinned creature crawls out from a shelf of books. His tail resembles an Ethernet cord. Above Chris, 2 more of the creatures hover over him with wings that say Wi-Fi. One has a pair of blue antennae. Shoot, Chris says. Looks like a few of the suckers hacked in already. They only want me. I will oblige. With a confident grin, Chris leaps into the air and floats among the Devil Trolls. Hurrah! He says as he prepares to attack. In a blur of motion, Chris strikes all the winged Devil Trolls around him. One attempts to sneak up from behind and bite his arm, but Chris senses her approach and grabs her by the tail. Using his electric powers, Chris kills the Devil Troll, causing it to stiffen in his grasp. He then descends to face the wingless Devil Trolls on the floor, and he attacks them with the corpse in his hand, cutting them to pieces with her razor-sharp wings. Upon their deaths, the Devil Trolls burst into flames. Well, that was a real fairy tale fight, Chris says. Rated M for Moof. Don't be a moof or aloof. Keep it E or T for your children, or give viewer discretion or supervision during gameplay. Even though I have enjoyed Brutal Legend, starring Jack Black. A moment later, Chris has gathered all of the materials in the building into a massive pile. Using his psychic powers, he encases the pile in psychic energy. Teleport to my mayoral office, he thinks as the pile vanishes. Alright, now for part 2 of this chore, Chris thinks. Cupping his hands together, Chris forms a lightning bomb. He tosses it into the center of the empty room, then clenches his fist and shouts, Chaotic Control! Swiftly, Chris dashes out the door and retreats to a safe distance. He forms a reflect dome over the building, then snaps his fingers, triggering the lightning bomb and imploding the Tripod facility within the dome. Well, Tripod was weak in security, and it lacks the support for Flash media anyway, Chris says. Moving on, Controversial statement.